G'day guys and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing AFL Q&A episode 5 for season 2022. And we've got record numbers of questions. If these numbers keep upticking, I'm going to have to make it a top 5. For this episode, I'll do all of them. But if we get the comments up, which is a good thing, I will cap it at the top 5 questions. So just to give you the rundown, I'll post this on a Sunday night and aim to get it before the start of the next round. I've just been out and about for a couple of days, so back into the swing of things at home. So, yeah, let's get stuck into them. Klinsman Cho, I'm going to guess that's Cho. Hey Tizio, thoughts on the Saints? Pretenders or are they for real? 4 on the trot, playing good footy, and forward midfielders in good shape and form. Thanks, mate. Great question. I haven't really seen the Saints play much at all, but yeah, their footy that they're playing and the results they're getting are quite astronomical from probably what we've seen in the past. They're getting a bit more accurate on the scoreboard. They're really making oppositions pay. That speed and that harassment is just unreal. So we won't know for a bit if they are real, but the footy, if they can keep playing this kind of football, it is quite sustainable. If you have that pressure game and move the ball quickly, you're already off to a really good start. But I don't know about a top 4. I feel like they're a top 6 side. We're going to have to see how they go against some sides that are, see how they go against, say, Melbourne, a Brisbane. I don't know if you put Geelong in that camp, but let's see how they go against the real top quality teams. They've already dismantled a couple of teams already. So yeah, it is very tough to keep up that brand of football and sustainability for 22 rounds. But yeah, they're playing some exciting footy. They're getting some really good scores on the board. So they're doing all they can at the moment with who they've played. Thanks, Klinsman. Garfield guy, 84. Isaac Smith is having a ripper year. Any chance of him winning the Kaji, you think? We'd love him to. Look, he's a chance. I don't think he'll win it. But in saying all that, he probably will make it into the top 5. If he plays his type of footy all year, definitely a top 3 kind of capability there, I would have thought. I think it's very hard to sort of, like Thomas Stewart normally comes to mind with a guy that, just about every week he has 1 or 2 poor games a season, I think. And he's just, absolutely incredible. But yeah, look, it probably looks a bit more open this year with, Guthrie declining a touch. Dangerfield won't, I don't think he'll be playing, career best seasons at, 32, or however old he is now, 33 probably. But yeah, top 3 could be probable. Don't know if he'll win it though. Luke McMahon. Lukey boy, who do you think will be the next AFL CEO? Favourite game this round? He's gone 2 questions there. No worries. I don't know where to derive the information of who's going to be the next AFL CEO. I could probably pull up Sportsbet right now and it would tell me. But I didn't know Gillan McLaughlin before he was CEO, so my chances of guessing are pretty slim. I'll just throw Clarko out there for a bit of a joke, I think. Well, not impossible. I reckon his passions lie with Tassie, but yeah, it would be interesting to see if Clarko does like to have his input and imprint on the game. So I'm just going to throw out Clarko as a guess, educated guess. He could be so out of touch with wanting to do that, but there you go. Favourite game this round. So round 5, I think it's round 5. Yes, round 5. My favourite game, I reckon Carlton and Port Adelaide. Yeah, well, I saw all of Geelong and Hawthorn, and obviously incredible from a neutral perspective. Not if you're a Geelong supporter like myself. And I saw a decent amount of the Crows Tigers game, which is a ripper as well. Friday night delivered a couple of stinkers, unfortunately. So, yeah, that was my favourite game of the round. Carlton, Port Adelaide. Carlton off to a big lead. Port Adelaide scraped it back to 3 points and couldn't quite get the job done. All right, so awesome. Off to Braden. Hey, mate. Hope this comment is seen. Pre-round 6 results. Jokes, mate. Love your work. Good one. Who's more real for you as a contender? Freo or Saints, both sitting on top 4 after 5 rounds? Oh, it's a great question. I can't wait for these teams to see how they go. I mean, Freo have definitely done some great things, without 5. Be interesting to see how that goes. And yeah, their turnover game's really solid. Their ball movement's really switched a gear as well. Who's more of a contender? I haven't really seen either of them play much, which, yeah, it's hard for me to get a gauge on that. Maybe, and they've both sort of beaten teams quite significantly. I'm thinking maybe the Saints just off the back of some experience and maybe more capability to score, but again, at the end of the day, it comes down to how well you can defend. Any team can kick 25 goals if you don't care about what's going through the other end. But yeah, I think the Saints narrowly, but Freo definitely looking the goods at the moment. And again, question marks around how sustainable young sides can keep this up. But showing good consistent signs early on in the seasons, both of those teams. Vito, what's with the umpiring? It has become absolute shit. What's your take on the dissent rule? I think all these rule changes are destroying the game. Also, watched a few games this week. Felt like umpires have received instructions to put the whistle away in the last quarters, which I disagree with. What's your take on all of this? I've got some takes. I've got some thoughts. I've got some feelings for you, Vito. The dissent rule just needs to calm down a lot. Players should be able to have two-way communications with umpires. Not all communications from players equals demonstrative to umpires, therefore doesn't equal 50-metre penalties. Throwing your arms out, that's just a natural reaction players have got when they're frustrated, more so at themselves or what's actually happening rather than it being directed at the umpire. I think they seriously need to sort this out because I don't want to watch I don't want to see on grand final day in the last minute. I'm trying to think of a player. Let's say Max Gawn or something like that. They put their hands up in the air. They've done it their whole life. Going an unfortunate situation's popped up and then that loses the game as a result. And, we've seen so many games, they're going to be pretty close. The season's pretty even. So I don't want this to affect a big final, let alone, a grand final. So players, what it should come back to is a bit more of a normality. If players like shouting, pointing at the umpire, I consider that dissent and demonstrative. I think they just need to have some clarity around what demonstrative means and a set standard of, tick boxes of what that could entail. Arms out, hands out, whatever it's called is, yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I feel like they're taking it a bit too far. If they've got their hands out and they're like in the umpire's face, that's demonstrative. So I think they can take a level back to what demonstrative means rather than these titty-touchy 50-metre penalties, because it's such a critical penalty for what seemingly are such minute mistakes, and their reflexes, they're not players going out of their way to be, they're not going out of their way to make the umpire's day worse. It's white line fever. That's a great question, Vito, and you've definitely sparked some thoughts and feelings from myself. And the second part of your question, I tend to agree with you on that front as well. There's definitely been times, I think, in games whether they might be a bit dead or they're right in the mix, and the umpires seem to not really care about holding the ball. That sort of goes out the window. Pushes in the back go out the window. Dissent goes out if you're Carlton as well. Trying to think. George Hewitt throwing his arms around at the umpire wasn't 50. So the thing is with this, they picked up 4 or 5 or whatever that were sort of obvious, I guess, and they've missed 20 to 50 others. So what's right and what's wrong? I think they've got to really define what the rule is and actually communicate with the public effectively. So take some feedback there, AFL, and take some action on it. Thank you. All right. Matthew, do you take any video requests for whole past AFL games? I don't. No. That's a bit of a dangerous game, that one, to play. So I think there's AFL Classic matches. There's definitely some peeps around that don't mind the full whole past AFL games. I'll do tips, predictions. I'll do Geelong Caps reviews. I'll do these Q&As. And I think that's plenty of enough of content. And Geelong Goal video highlights, which are slowly streaming through as well. That's as far as I think I'll go in that space. Dylan, what's next for the Cats if they don't win the flag? Year by year heartbreak. Is it time to go to the draft and tank? Your thoughts? Well, it's going to be very tough if they don't win the flag this year. They definitely need to already be thinking about youth over the last couple of years, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and in the 30-plus-year-old basket. Tank, probably, I think you get found out for that, so I don't agree with the tanking thought. What Geelong can control is bringing in the youth that they already have and develop that sort of spine. And that next sort of midfield, I think that's going to be crucially important with Selwood and Dangerfield not too far, a bit closer to retirement than they are starting their careers. So that midfield's critical for mine. I feel like the back line's decently portioned out with age. And, yeah, I think they're obviously pretty keen on getting Radigalia developed, but there's definitely some improvements there for sure, as always. Yeah, I mean, it ends up in heartbreak, but so does it. So does it for 17 other clubs as well. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that, Dylan. All right, Sim. I'll give that a guess. Who you got for the Coleman? Well, I don't think he's going to win it now because he's been injured and then he's been suspended. I actually picked Ben Brown, thinking he had a few years there where he kicked 60-plus goals. He was very close a few times. I thought in the Melbourne side that's going to give him silver service and a side that's in premiership contention again. I was definitely thinking, Ben Brown, but I think that's gone out the window. Jeremy Cameron's definitely been flagged as possible Coleman medalist. But yeah, I picked Ben Brown. That's who I picked. So that's who I got. The Cats going to bring the silverware to the category. Is this the year or too early to say, Tyson? Well, you obviously questioned this before the Hawthorn game. I assume so. It would have been Sunday night. So I don't think they will be. I think we'll be a top 6 side at best, and I don't see us alleviating those issues that are constant in finals, where inability to grab ground ball, inability to apply ferocious pressure, and inability to deal with ferocious pressure. So until we fix those 3 things, pretty hard to bring the silverware. Premiership's pretty hard to win, and I feel like Melbourne are streets ahead of the rest of the comp, so it's going to be off the back of something drastic happening to Melbourne if they are to not win it. James, Tizio, like how you've shaved your head. Looks good, mate. D's, for you, unbeatable. Any team you reckon that contend at all? Well, good segue, as I was mentioning. D's are definitely beatable. It feels like we say this all the time, where teams seem invincible. Every team's got weaknesses, and teams probably know what they are. It's all good and well knowing what those weaknesses are. Actually being able to execute and exploit those weaknesses is a tougher assignment. I don't really know how you move the ball against Melbourne, because they kick along down the line and you've got May and Lever. If you kick it into the corridor, then they've got 2-on-1 and then they cause turnover and then they get a goal on the end of it. Maybe handball might be the game. We saw the Dogs able to sort of switch the angles up, and sort of, I reckon you could probably get a bit of value out of that I believe it was the second term where the Dogs kicked 8 goals. If a team can do that sustainably, they can beat the D's for sure. But they are definitely beatable. Are they in the best team in the competition? Absolutely. I think by a fair way. Any team you reckon that can contend at all? Who do I reckon can beat Melbourne? Or any team you reckon? I think it's more in the question. So I'll just look through the teams now. I mean, Brisbane probably don't have that contested ball now to get the job done. I think Sydney are a side that could trouble them, and it was definitely close last time. I think the Saints at their absolute best might be able to sort of give them a little challenge. Well, definitely not GWS. Carlton might be able to go with them for a little while, but we've seen they've dropped some pretty big leads. I think even Geelong might be not enough to get it done. Hopefully that answers your question there, James. Toby, will Richmond make the 8 or Dynasty done? Interesting question. Will they make the 8? I'd probably have to see their draw, although I can answer the second part of your question. Dynasty was done probably last year even though they had lots of injuries and it all sort of fell apart. They got Robbie Tarrant, he's sort of struggling. The Tigers still going to have some really good wins, really good results. No doubt about that throughout the course of the season, and they're going to surprise some teams, and then they're going to be equally, they're going to be a bit of a yo-yo as Jack Riewoldt sort of defined. I think they'll probably just miss the 8 again, or just be outside it. If they do make it, they'll sneak into the 8, and then they might cause some trouble for a team in the first week of the finals, and not really do much from there. But yeah, until they bring back like that absolute perfection with their possession, or just move the ball forward at all costs, which they still do and can execute from time to time, but it's more so down to that hunger level that you can't really replicate after winning 3 premierships, and players that are 4 or 5 years older as well. It makes it tricky. So they would need to do a fair bit right to win a flag from here, I would have thought. But other sides developing and moving ahead of them. Jay, King, Eddie Maguire for new CEO. Cats East winners tomorrow versus Hawthorn. So he's definitely another contender. I flagged Clarko as a possibility for CEO. Don't know if he'd like the suits, to be honest, but maybe step in for a year, put the game in ultra good stead. Well, I tipped the Cats, and I thought we'd win, sort of that 4 or 5 goal margin, and Hawthorn got the job done by 2 goals. So we definitely had our chances, but we didn't take them. And credit to Hawthorn for making every post a winner and getting off to a great start. We fell asleep. So yeah. Ash, is this Cats' last opportunity to win the flag? Well, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous Q&A. I think their last opportunity was the 2020 Grand Final. That was their best chance to win it, and unfortunately they failed. To win a flag in the next 5 or 7 years, I suppose it will be this year. They've had the revolving door. It's been a bit of a mirage, the cliff for the Cats, but I think it will come pretty quickly when it does, which I would suspect would have to be 2023 or 2024. That will be when the cliff finds a way. Shannon, the final question of the afternoon. Favourite president of the AFL? Well, I've only seen 2 presidents in my time of watching the AFL, and that's Andrew Demetriou and Gil McLachlan. I'd say Gil, just... Not that I had, feelings, strong feelings towards or against either, but I felt like Gil took a few risks here and there, and obviously to be able to sort of go through the whole COVID situation and get seasons underway and continuing, and from start to finish really was quite a monumental effort. And yeah, I think he's pretty humorous. I reckon I've got a few videos of him on the front bar having a few giggles. I like his sense of humour, so I will go with Gil on that one, but it'll be sad to see him leave. So, guys, we've ticked over 20 minutes, thereabouts. It's been a big video, so I think, if we keep these coming in, we're getting lots of comments. I might just have to do a top 5, and, otherwise the videos will just go for way too long, and... not a sustainable brand of football. So anyway, guys, once again, I'll put this comment out on the it's not Saturday night. I'll put this probably maybe even possibly Monday, because there's a couple of games on the Monday. I'll put this out Monday night. and look to answer them Wednesday, Thursday. See what the round looks like. Round 7 starting on Friday night. So I think the Thursday night games are done and dusted for the meantime. So yeah, I will look to answer them around that Wednesday, Thursday sort of dealio and see how I go from there. But that's all from me, guys. Thanks for chucking in your questions. Appreciate it. It's good fun answering them. And yeah, chuck in your questions for when you see the community post for next, on the Monday afternoon, Monday evening. So yeah, guys, make sure you click the bell so then you can be notified of when I chuck in the community post. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Got a podcast as well, which the fellas and I have a good old chat. So if you want to hear more AFL content, completely free, listen in. I'll have that in the description. That's it from me today, team. Thank you for listening in. I'll see you on the next video.